Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are discussing another important topic in the arranged marriage series. So this is the arranged marriage episode number 2, which is living with in-laws. Now this has been such a debate all across Instagram and WhatsApp and Reddit and everywhere. Everybody has differing opinions on living with in-laws, whether it's good, whether it's bad, how is it going to be, and all of that. So I thought I will give an opinion on what we millennial women think about living with in-laws. So let's get started. So now talking a bit about myself, my parents moved to Bengaluru quite earlier than others. By earlier, I mean they moved here in the late 80s to 90s. So I was completely brought up in Bangalore. Now, when someone is brought up in a tier 1 city, by tier 1 city, I mean Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, Hyderabad. So, in cities like this, when your parents have moved quite early on and they have established themselves in these cities, they have their own house, children don't really get a chance to move out for studies, for higher education, for jobs. Because in a city like Bangalore, there is everything, right? So, I did my schooling here, I did my college here, I did my engineering here, and I got a job right out of college in Bangalore. So I literally have lived in the same city with my parents all my life. So until I got married, that is until the age of 28, I have lived with my parents. And people might be like shocked, like, how can you live for so long with your parents in the same house? Because I've seen a lot of people around me who have moved from tier 2 or tier 3 cities to Bangalore, be it for education or for to get a better job, or they have moved countries, they've gone to another country. But for people who grew up in tier 1 cities, they don't really have the need to go to another school or to go to another college because they find everything in their own city, right? So now you'll ask me, why did I tell you this? That's because living with your own parents is obviously really good. Like, you have all the comforts, and your dad is taking care of all the finances, and your mom is taking care of all the budgeting and all the house decisions on what is going to be made at home, everything. So everything is literally given to you on a platter, and you don't really learn life lessons when you're living with your parents, right? So for me personally, until the age of 28, I was never involved in decisions of the house, because it was either my dad or mom who were taking these decisions, and I was just feeling like I'm not giving anything, right? So at the age of 21, I got a job and I started working. I became financially independent, but financial independence doesn't mean anything when you're living with your parents, right? Because they are taking care of everything. So my opinions were not really mattering there. I quickly realized that a lot of my other friends who had moved from tier 2 city to Bangalore, they had become street smart and had learned life lessons the hard way when they were living by themselves. So at the age of 18 or by 21, they literally knew how to search a house, how to set up a house from scratch, how to interact with people, be it your house owner or be it a maid, how to budget, how to grocery shop, how to cook. And here I was at the age of 28 with everything handed over to me, and I was not doing anything. I was literally feeling like a piece of furniture at home. I think that's also because in India, you always have the umbrella of your parents, right? Especially when you're living with them. You don't need to do anything, like they are doing everything for you. And during my arranged marriage process, when this topic came of are you willing to live with your in laws? For me, the only reason that I did not want to live with anyone elder in the house was that I knew that if I live with parents in India, they are going to do everything for you. They are going to take care of literally everything, from finances, from house decisions to everything. We as millennials, we want to voice out our opinions and we want to be heard. Like, we want to be a part of where our money is going to be invested or how our house should run. And after thinking about all of this, and because I did not really get a chance to live away, right, and to live life on my own terms, so I decided that for me it's best to find a partner who is also independent and who is also willing to learn and grow with me. Now, some people might be thinking that why is this girl even complaining when she had all the privileges of life and when her parents were taking care of everything? It's like Ananya Pandey's struggles, right? No, it's because I think the grass is always greener on the other side, right? So, you also, after a certain age, want to live independently, want to take decisions, want your voice to be heard, and you want to know where your money is getting involved, right? So in India, what happens is usually that if you're living with in-laws or your parents, or so they're very stern about decisions. They do not want to listen to anyone else. They just want to take decisions and they feel they're right. And they feel like whatever they are doing, it's for the best. I was not of the opinion that this is how it should work. And during my arranged marriage processes, I spoke to a lot of guys who were living abroad, who were living in a different city. I was open to all of that. And I found that a lot of these guys had become independent quite early on. And a lot of parents are more protective about their daughters than their sons. So they're okay with sending their sons abroad or they're okay with sending their sons to another city. But for daughters, it's even more restrictive. During my arranged marriage process, I got to know that so many people had learned life lessons so quick, and all of my friends, they were independent, they were doing solo travels, they were vacationing with their own money, and here I was not doing anything. So I quickly decided that after marriage this should not be the case, because tomorrow I will decide to have a kid. I want a kid. I don't know about other couples. These days it's a choice, but I definitely want a kid, and I do not want my kid to be a burden on my parents or my in-laws. Like, I don't want them to take care of my kid because I don't know anything, because I've never really dealt with all of these. And tomorrow, just imagine if I can't even cook for my own child, then how am I going to raise my child? For everything, I cannot keep calling my mother in law or my mother. And I was so sure that this is not how I want to live. And that is when I met my husband, who was also of the same opinion, because he also had been living with his parents for quite a long time. And even he felt that it's high time that we should live independently, learn all of this, and build everything from scratch. Like, we get to decide what our house rules are going to be, where we invest our money, how we want to do it. And in a city like Bangalore, say if both wife and husband are earning more than a lakh per month, it's very easy to start from scratch. So I think me and my husband, we went through the entire process of finding the house, setting up the house from scratch, assembling all the furniture, and talking with maids, talking with car cleaners, doing all of the grocery shopping, budgeting, and it's been a year and we are loving it. It gives us that autonomy to decide what we want. We sit at the end of the month, we decide where our money should go, like which investment we want to do. And now we're actually becoming pro because we go to the post office, we go to the bank, we know what to do, what accounts to open, what accounts to close. Like, I was absolutely clueless at 28. Like, I didn't even know because my mom was running at the bank or the post office every time, or my dad was doing it. And honestly, I was not at all aware. But now, after wedding, I'm so aware of all of this, how to bargain, how to do all of that. So I definitely feel like couples who can afford to move out should move out, because they will learn so much. And tomorrow, if they want to grow, I mean, they want to nurture another human being, they will be mentally, physically, and financially ready for it. And they don't really have to listen to other people's opinions on it. So now comes the next scenario. Let me give you a short scenario wherein, like I told you, a lot of people moved to Bangalore quite early on, right? So I have a lot of guy friends who also have their parents living in Bangalore for so long, and the boys themselves are working in Bangalore. So in this case, what happens is that a lot of my guy friends, they think that we do not want to move out of our house because the rents are so high these days, and we do not even have the money to invest in another house. We are quite happy with the house that our parents have, and that is a financially logical decision. So in these cases, what I would say is that it's completely the guy's choice, right? You cannot force the guy out of his parents' home, because whatever the guy is telling is also correct. That the parents already have a house in Bangalore and they do not find it wise enough to invest in another house. and they can comfortably, around 4 to 5 people can live in that house. So what is wrong with it? But I think it kind of also limits the boys' chances of getting a lot of profiles, because a lot of us women, we want to live independently and we want our own house rules, right? And you must also remember that more the people in the house, more opinions and more conflicts. And to all the guys out there, if you're sure that your parents will consider an opinion of another human being, and they will truly and seriously take her opinions, give her the autonomy to live life on her own, and also not interfere in the child raising. I've seen this a lot, that there are a lot of conflicts between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, because the mother-in-law wants the child to be raised a certain way, but the mother wants the child to be raised in another way. So this leads to a lot of conflicts. After thinking about all of these topics, the guy must actually make a choice whether to move out from his parents' house or not. So now comes scenario number three, wherein a guy has got a permanent work from home job in a tier 2 or a tier 3 city, and he is very happy living there. And there is absolutely no problem in that. Like, guys can choose to live in a tier 2 or tier 3 city because it's work from home. They're saving a lot of money and they're comfortably living in their own hometown. But this again limits the choice in biodatas for guys, because a lot of women, we want to live in a tier 1 city, and there is also nothing wrong in it, right? It is the girl's choice and the guy's choice. So in this case, I would recommend all the guys to kind of find someone who is working in the same hometown, in the same tier 2 or tier 3 city. But if they are not able to find someone who's working in that city, maybe they can go for a stay at home wife, but who is pursuing her passion on the side. Like, these days I've seen so many women, they are cooking and selling food, they're selling cakes. Don't get me wrong that I'm telling that you should marry a stay at home wife. No, there is nothing wrong in marrying a stay at home wife. Only thing is that the income will be reduced, right? But in a tier 2 city, if you feel that one salary is more than sufficient to live, then there is nothing wrong in it. But you must support your wife in pursuing her passion, be it selling paintings, selling food, and all of that. A lot of ladies have started their own Instagram business from small towns, because there are no IT opportunities in that particular town. So if you want a wife who earns, or you don't care about the salary but you only care that she is working, then you can support your wife in these situations. Now, I've seen a lot of men who keep blaming women, saying that, you just want a reason to abandon my parents, or you just don't want to live with my parents, you just dislike my parents for no reason, and all of that. To these men, I just want to ask questions like, now, what will you tell about a couple who is living abroad for financial reasons, because they got a better job abroad? There are so many guys who leave at a young age to settle abroad and earn good money and give their parents a comfortable life back in India. Will you also tell such couples that they have abandoned their parents? During COVID, I've seen a lot of people who have lost their parents in India. Their parents unfortunately passed away here, and they could not even travel back due to travel restrictions. Will you tell the same thing for those guys, that you have abandoned your parents and you have not taken care of them and they died here and you didn't even get to meet them? No, right? It's not justified, because they also care about their parents, they love their parents very much, and they want to give a better life to their parents who are living here. I've seen so many people who live abroad, but they want to get a good apartment to their parents here in India. They want to give them the best health care, right? So in these situations, people don't call it as abandoning. But if a girl wants to move out and live on her own and have her own house rules, if she wants to raise a child by herself, and she wants to take house decisions, she is called as a witch, and she's called as someone who wants to abandon the guy's parents. So there's a lot of name calling and shaming that happens here. But I would also say that a girl is also a human being, right? She also wants to live life. Now, the same guys will not tell anything when the girl is living the girl's parents and shifting, right? What about the girl's parents? Are we also not talking about abandonment in those cases? It should be understanding between the couple, what the couple feels best for them. And then, like now, in me and my husband's case, we found it perfect that we both want to live independently. We both want to take decisions. We both want to do everything. There are circumstances in life wherein, there are conflicts, when there are a lot of people in the house and all of that happens. But the woman is finally blamed that, it's because of women that this thing has happened and these fights have occurred. So I would say, please stop this. Everybody has their own life and their own circumstances, their own resources that they're dependent on, and they have all the rights to make the decision. Now, some people might tell me, what if a girl does not earn? Does she have any right to decide where to live? Now, in these cases, I would say that yes, if the girl is not working and not providing financially, then probably she cannot choose, because in one income, it is very difficult to rent out and live a life in a tier one city, especially in a city like Mumbai, for example. So, here the girl might probably have to adjust. But if the guys can, give a little support and push for the girl to pursue her passion, then maybe there's a chance that you can move out and live your own life. Now, let me give you another scenario which actually occurred, right, with my friend. So, the guy was living with his parents in Bangalore, and he's very adamant that he won't move out of his parents' house. And the girl, my friend, she was working in a company which has no work from home, and her office was 30 kilometer away from the boy's place. So when she asked the boy, like, can we just move to a place which is equidistant from both our offices? He outright refused and told her that you have to travel every day 30 kilometer, because we have our own house and I will not move out. So she felt that this was not fair. Bangalore traffic can get mentally and physically so taxing on your health. How can you expect someone to travel 60 kilometers every day? So I feel like in this sense, guys should also be accommodative, and in the initial few years at least, they should move until they make some kind of adjustments, change of jobs or anything like that. Because you can't outright tell a girl that I will not move out and you have to travel this much. I don't think that is right. So I would like to conclude this topic by saying that I feel both the boy and the girl should be very transparent and honest, and they should feel what they would do. Say the boy will not mention beforehand that he will never move out of his parents' house. The girl would expect that in the future the boy might move, and she will have a wrong impression in her head. So the guy should make it very clear that I will not move out no matter what, just to maintain transparency. And even girls, I would advise you that be very clear. Like, if you do not want to live with your in laws, there is no harm in it. It's not a crime. Just like how I was very transparent with my husband or with the boys that I was talking in arranged marriage process, be outright honest so that there is no fights in the future and you can maintain a peaceful relationship. Thank you for watching. Keep waiting for episode number 3. Now, if you like content like this, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.